Hey guys, Ramesh here. Welcome back to React Hooks Spring Boot CRUD Full Stack Application series. In this video, let's go ahead and let's build get employee by ID REST API. So head over to employee controller, and within the employee controller, we are going to write the get employee by ID REST API. So let me write the comment over here: build get employee by ID REST API. Well, let's go ahead and let's create a method public, and the return type of the method, let's go ahead and let's use response entity. So response entity is a very useful class that we can use to construct the response of the REST API. So go ahead and choose response entity, and this is a generic class, so we need to pass the type. In our case, we need to pass employee. Let's give method name as get employee by ID. Okay, and we need to pass the method argument for this method. Let's say ID of type long. Now we need to fetch employee object from the database. For that, what we're going to do is we're going to use employee repository to get the employee object from the database. So let me first declare an employee object over here, and let's use employee repository, and it provides a method called find by ID. So find by ID method takes ID of type long, and it returns the optional class of type employee. So go ahead and choose this method and just pass ID. Well, find by ID method returns optional class, and optional class provides the method or else throw method. Well, if record is not exist with a given ID, then our REST API should throw the exception, and our REST API should return a error response to the client, right? In order to handle this use case, what we're going to do is we're going to use or else throw method to create a custom exception and throw the custom exception. Okay, so go ahead and choose or else throw method, and if you can see here, or else throw method takes supplier as a argument. Supplier is nothing but a functional interface, and we need to provide a Lambda expression implementation for this interface. So go ahead and choose this method, and we are going to write a Lambda expression, and here is the syntax: new, and then create object of resource not found exception and throw this object. Okay, let me break this sentence here, and we need to pass a custom error message, something like employee not exist with ID, and just pass the ID over here. Okay, great, that's it. Now we got an employee object from the database. Now this method should return response entity, and just call OK method here. So we're gonna call OK method because it internally provides 200 status code. We don't have to manually specify 200 status code as a response of this response entity class. We simply call OK method, and we need to pass a body. In our case, we need to pass an employee object in a body. That's it, guys. Now we have created a method which returns an employee object. Let's make this method as a REST API by using Spring provided annotations. So let's go ahead and let's add get mapping annotation at the top of this method. Okay, and we need to pass ID. So within a curly braces, provide a ID, and we need to bind a value of this ID to the method argument. For that, we're going to use add path variable annotation. That's it. Pretty simple, isn't it? Now save this class and go ahead and run Spring Boot application again. Well, our Spring Boot application is up and running. Let's head over to Postman client and let's test this REST API. So in a Postman client, create a new request to test this REST API, and make sure that you choose HTTP GET method over here, and just enter the URL http localhost 8080 API/v1/employees, and just pass the ID. Here we are passing ID 1. We need to get an employee with ID 1, right? That's the reason I'm passing 1 here. And go ahead and click on send button, and you can able to see here REST API return the response with the ID 1. Okay, we got a response as an employee object with ID 1. If you want to retrieve employee with ID 2, then go ahead and pass ID 2 over here, and there we go. REST API return an employee object with ID 2. If you want to get an employee with ID 3, you can just pass ID 3 and hit send button, and there we go. REST API return an employee with ID 3. It means that get the employee by ID REST API working as expected. Alright, in next video we will create update employee REST API. I will see you in the next video.